Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Nirmadon, and I'm going to be talking about an incident that occurred on Friday. I'm sure a large majority of you guys already know where this is going, but just in case this is not down your avenue or maybe you are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, I'm going to try to give as much context and background information as I know, but in the same perspective, there is a lot that is still unknown, like motives and stuff of that stature, but definitely without further ado, I think we should probably begin. So a lot of you guys will know, or maybe a small majority of you will know, similar facts to this. On Friday, which would have been December 14th, 2012, there was a elementary school shooting that occurred in Newtown, Connecticut. And as unfortunate it is, the death, toll, I guess you would want to say, would be 27 people. There were 27 people found dead at the scene, and, obviously it's inside the school. And of those 27, that leaves a total of 20 of them were students. So that means 7 obviously are teachers or administrators, something of a higher power than a student. And as unfortunate as, as it is, the students really didn't have any way to defend themselves. Obviously, you can't have any kind of weapon on school property, and it leaves the question: was there any kind of officer or anything at the scene? As for example, at our school, we have an officer that walks the hallways just walking around, doing whatever. But we also have like cop cars and, police and everything that drive around the school and do like, couple hour searches and stuff like that. Searches as in, they just kind of check the perimeter, nothing fishy's going on, anything like that. And we actually did have an interesting incident, I guess you would say, when I'm not a part of this group. I know very little about this, but I know it showed up on a lot of media sites, and I know it showed up in the newspaper, so it was something definitely to take note of. But I guess like a theater class or something had the ability to dress up as whatever character they want, and this guy that I'm going to leave unnamed as that would probably be smart. Anyway, the point is he dressed up like the Joker. Somebody called it into the police department, stuff like that. And the incident was basically resolved. There was no problems or complications there, but it leaves the same question to note that at least some bystander or something solved the issue before maybe it could have become an issue or a problem. And unfortunately, that was not the case in the circumstance. There's no way to exactly describe, from what I've seen from the articles that I've read, there is no context or anything of his exact motives. I do realize that he did kill his mother, which was a teacher at the school. Her name is Nancy Lanza. I do apologize if the last name is incorrect, but his name was Adam Lanza, so he was a 20-year-old guy, I guess, male, whatever, and he was obviously known as a gunman. And there has been a lot of speculation and comments basically directed towards a secondary known guy that was involved in the crime scene, I guess you would place it into that effect. And supposedly he ran off into the woods and was caught later, but he announced and screamed and hollered that he had nothing to do with it. So I guess that is awaiting trial or notification and stuff like that. And definitely Adam Lanza, or basically his family side, did have a brother, and as of right now there is being no prosecution of him or any kind of trials. He's participating with the police department in that circumstance to hopefully resolve what was going on, or if there was any kind of complications between him and his family or anything like that. But as it seems right now, there was nothing to do with, I think it's Ryan Lanza. I think that's the brother's name, if I am correct. But again, it's just very tragic. As our president of the United States currently, he did do a speech on it, obviously, because it's a national disaster, or something that needs to be brought to the public's attention. I'm not sure if I said that right. National disaster. I don't know. It's basically just really bad. I mean, obviously, elementary school, especially getting shot up, that's something that you don't normally hear about. I mean, from time to time, every, seems like 4 to 6 years, there'll be a mall shooting or a theater shooting or something like that. Not saying that in any context that is any different or makes up for the difference within, a shooting that's obviously horrific, especially the Batman one. That is, I think, the most prevalent one that I know about personally. I know, or I presume there's probably been stuff that has happened between the Batman shooting and as of, today, or anything between and excluding the one that happened in Newtown, Connecticut. But definitely, there was a lot that occurred. There's just, I don't really know how to explain it. It's just really horrific to note that, one, the president, made a speech about it, and he talked about, different perspectives, says that this won't happen again and stuff like of that accord. But again, there was no speculation on how that will happen. I don't know if they'll open up perimeters or anything around schools now, if there will be a different gun law, and I know a lot of the people that own weapons are very upset about this because, you know, one guy ruins it for the large majority of people that do follow the rules, stuff of that stature. But in the same context, you know, I don't really want to get into, I guess, politicals here, but, you know, whatever your opinion is on the gun laws in the United States, you know, that is completely of your own. I personally just don't really have a problem with it right now. I do realize that it is a huge problem, and I do understand that I just contradicted myself by saying I don't want to jump into it, but I figure I don't want you guys to get the wrong impression by what I'm trying to announce to you. I think where they're at now is fine. I think there is just a different process that needs to be met in order to acquire such weapons. So I wouldn't say like outlawing them. I know a lot of people have really strong opinions about that, but the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights within the Constitution does state the right to bear arms, and, you know, them banning it kind of goes against that, so I doubt that'll be something that will be happening within my lifetime, or maybe yours as well. So with that basically announced, you know, I kind of want you guys to understand, like, a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, if I did upset you with the gun law thing, you know, I do apologize, but that's how I view it. I don't think that a large majority of the population needs to be punished for people that have mental or basically just mental instabilities. I guess that's the best way to put it. I mean, obviously, you're not in the right mindset if you want to go shoot students that are between the age of 5 and 10. I mean, in elementary school, that's pretty pathetic. I mean, not saying that I would recommend anyone going any higher or anything like that, but honestly, you're killing people that had nothing to do with your misfortune. I mean, obviously, by him killing his mother, there was complications, or at least that would be my hypothesis, or my, you know, ability to understand the function of what happened or what could be on the horizon. But, you know, I guess we won't know. And I don't know, it's really unfortunate. It kind of caught me off guard, especially when I heard about it at class. I came to school at like 12:22, which is my third block if you do block scheduling. If not, that'd be like after lunch of a normal standard time for anyone around the world, usually. So, with that in mind, you know, I heard about it, teachers knew about it, it was something really widely spread around. Definitely, you know, we didn't have our school or anything shut down, unlike Newtown, Connecticut, that anywhere between, you know, 2 school radius, they were all shut down. So, that's probably good, obviously. But in the same context, you know, nothing happened to us. We didn't have any kind of speech or anything. But definitely my prayers do go out to the families that did have something happen to them. If you guys are in Connecticut and you know of anyone that maybe was in the incident, maybe yourself, or you know one of the families that was affected by it, you know, I don't really know how to say it. You know, it's just really bad. It's definitely not something that your parents or their parents or anyone would want to hear, that their child, you know, has deceased. But definitely, you know, my prayers do go out to them, and I wish them the best of recovery from something like this, because it's definitely going to have an impact upon their life for a very long time. So, I thought I'd let you guys know what happened. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary. I know it's a little depressing, but I figured I'd cover it considering that it was pretty exponential. But without further ado, this is Inamo, signing off. Peace.